NDTV exclusive report. Satellite images sourced by us indicate that China's naval base in Djibouti on the Horn of Africa is now fully operational and supports Chinese warships deployed in the Indian Ocean. You see the base on your screen right now. Why is this important for us? China's presence in Djibouti is part of a detailed plan to establish its presence in the Indian Ocean, directed not just, for example, at the US Navy, which has major bases in the Persian Gulf, but also at the Indian Navy, the next largest in the region. Images of the fully operational base in Djibouti come at a time when China has docked a 25,000-ton satellite and ballistic missile tracking ship in the Sri Lankan port of Hambantota. We'll talk about that as well in a moment. But first, this is the area that we are talking about: Djibouti in Africa to the west, Gwadar in Pakistan, where China is building a base, and Hambantota to the east in Sri Lanka, where China has a 99-year lease to the port. It's effectively theirs. But first, let's turn our attention to the Chinese base in Djibouti on your screen. Built at a cost of $590 million and under construction since 2016, it's located by the strategic Bab al-Mandab Strait, which guards the approach to the Suez Canal, one of the most critical channels of international commerce. Significantly, the images from Maxar, which we've procured, show a Chinese ship, a Yuzhou class landing ship, docked along a 320-meter long berthing area located near an apron that supports helicopter operations. This is a large 25,000-ton vessel designed to embark up to 800 soldiers and a combination of vehicles, air cushion landing craft and helicopters. In other words, a potential flagship of any Chinese fleet operating in the Indian Ocean. Elsewhere, there's an apron that you see over here for helicopter operations in the center of your screen. Looks like a small runway, where in this image taken less than a week back, there appear to be training activities underway on this apron or runway. A short distance away, a new building is under construction, as you can see, and the containers set up in the same facility are likely to support urban and counter-terror operations training. That's what the assessment from experts that we have spoken to seem to indicate. And in this image, you can see a wide shot of all of what we've described so far: the ship, the base, the training facilities, the new building under construction. It's a large facility in the Horn of Africa. Finally, a look at the Chinese satellite and missile observations ship, the Yuanwang 5, everyone's been talking about. That remains docked in Hambantota in Sri Lanka. We've marked its satellite and communication dishes. It's berthed next to an oiled tank farm and is likely being refueled. It is being refueled at a time when Sri Lanka hardly has enough fuel to supply its own citizens.
As the top Russian minister met his Indian counterpart in New Delhi, US's caution tactic triggered outrage in our country. US Deputy NSA has cautioned India over trade with Russia. On his visit to India, Deputy NSA Dalip Singh said there will be consequences for any country, including India, that conducts local transactions through Russia's central bank, subverting the sanctions US has put on Russia. On Thursday, India defended the decision to look for good deals for energy requirements. India has also even pointed out that Europe has been a major buyer of Russian oil even after the invasion began.
Different countries are going to have their own relationship with the Russian Federation. It's a fact of history, it's a fact of geography. That is not something that we are seeking to change. What we are seeking to do, whether it is in the context of India or other partners and allies around the world, is to do all we can to see to it that the international community is speaking in unison, speaking loudly against this unjustified, unprovoked, premeditated aggression, calling for an end to the violence, using the leverage that countries, including India, have to those ends.
That we respect other countries' decisions about the issues that they face. You know, India is a sovereign nation. I'm not going to tell India what to do, what I've said is, as a member of the UK government that has signed up to the Budapest Memorandum, I feel a strong responsibility on behalf of the United Kingdom to take all the action we can to support the people of Ukraine. But that is not the same as going around telling other countries what to do.
What looks almost like a campaign on this issue. Now, I was just reading a report today that in the month of March, Europe has bought, I think, 15% more oil and gas from Russia than it did the month before. If you look at the major buyers of oil and gas from Russia, I think you'd find most of them are in Europe. We ourselves get the bulk of our energy supplies from the Middle East, about 7.5%, 8% of our oil from the US. In the past, maybe less than 1% from Russia. When oil prices go up, I think it's natural for countries to go out into the market and look for what are good deals for their people. But I am pretty sure if we wait 2 or 3 months and actually look at who are the big buyers of Russian gas and oil, I suspect the list won't be very different from what it used to be, and I suspect we won't be in the top 10 on that list.
When the oil prices have gone up, India does not really, the Ukraine-Russia crisis or the West and the Russia confrontation, India doesn't have a role to play there, right? I mean, it's not because of us or our diplomatic failures or oversight that this kind of a situation has embarked upon the world. So it's very natural for the prices to, when the prices go up, it's natural for countries to go out in the market and look for better deals, right? So that's what we are doing. And as far as Russia coming and standing up for us in case there is an LAC incursion, so when there was a 2020 incursion, I don't think any country, even US, came and stood by India, let alone Russia. So these are, I would say, in my opinion, Russia tactics, because you see, US and these do not stand any technical ground, because the sanctions that are imposed by the US on Russia are the moderate category, where US has not stopped its allies and partners from buying oil from Russia.
And days after India's strong message on terror at the United Nations left Pakistan red-faced, a member of the ruling coalition in Pakistan has fired a new threat. Here's more on all that happened. Take a look.
I read the reports on what Minister Hina Rabani Khar said. And, I was reminded more than a decade ago, if my memory serves me right, Hillary Clinton was visiting Pakistan, Islamabad. And Hina Rabani Khar was a minister at that time. And I think standing next to her, Hillary Clinton actually said that if you have, I'm giving you the sense, it's not an exact quote, that if you have snakes in your backyard, you can't expect them to bite only your neighbors. Eventually, they will bite the people who keep them in the backyard. But as you know, Pakistan is not great on taking good advice, and you see what's happening there. In terms of what they are saying, look, the truth is everybody, the world today sees them as the epicenter of terrorism.
Days after this comment by External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar at the UN sent Pakistan packing.
पाकिस्तान वो मुल्क नहीं है जो एक थप्पड़ के नतीजे में दूसरा गाल आगे करेगा। पाकिस्तान अगर थप्पड़ पड़ेगा तो उसका जवाब भी थप्पड़ से देगा। ये बात मैं आपके तवज्जुह से क्लियर करना चाहती हूं। और अगर भारत का कोई मिनिस्टर किसी भी फोरम पर मोदी सरकार के दिफा में इतना अंधा हो जाएगा कि वो ये नहीं सोचेगा कि वो एक न्यूक्लियर मुल्क के लिए, पाकिस्तान जैसे न्यूक्लियर मुल्क के लिए ऊल फूल बक सकता है, तो ये उसकी गलती है।
Left red-faced, a member of Pakistan's ruling coalition has fired an empty nuke threat. The new threat also comes at a time when Pakistan is reeling from the Bhutto embarrassment.
पाकिस्तान जो आतंकवादियों का सरगना है, आतंकवादियों का गढ़ है।
There is no doubt that India's strong message at the UN has left Pakistan rattled. The world is now calling out Pakistan for its terror sponsorship. Pakistan is the global laughingstock. And with all cards failing, the nuke threat is the latest in Pakistan's antique series. Bureau Report for Republic TV.
From the government side, India has been clear since the beginning of the invasion on February 24th. India has not so far taken any firm stand against the Russian invasion, as the foreign policy experts have been saying that for a nation situated in a hostile region dominated by China, India cannot afford to upset its time-tested ally, that is Russia, and also has to constantly find a balancing act between Russia and United States, which both the countries India would be needing in case China opts for aggression against India. As we have been seeing in recent years, China has been pushing up against its borders in the north and northeast of India. And whereas when we talk about the public opinion about this war, people have been following Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Both in Narendra Modi as well as Russian President Vladimir Putin have a strong man image, and in India people have been blindly following this, and both these leaders have a close fondness for each other, and that's the reason why since the Prime Minister took office in 2014, they have met 20 times, and both share a common vision of a muscular nationalism, and that is the reason. And as far as hashtag I stand for Putin is concerned, it was found that it was a fake hashtag going around on the internet.
Navedita Kumari reporting from New Delhi there.